To talk through with all of the news out of the RNC yesterday.
Joining us now is Sheryl Adams, a Republican strategist and former U.S. congressional candidate from California. Sheryl, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
So Mr. Trump hit the stage for his first public appearance since the assassination attempt. We all saw his ear bandaged up. What was it like seeing him last night?
It was a relief. I think all Americans should be happy that we are not having a different conversation today. Having a shooting days before your national convention can't be easy. I think we see a little bit of PTSD, just a surreal moment. I think everyone agrees we are lucky that he was not assassinated.
Let's talk about how the party is feeling about the start of this convention. Obviously, there was a lot of electricity in the room last night, especially when former President Trump did make that appearance later in the evening. But there's been a lot of call here for unity, kind of a change in direction. You had some speakers last night, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Charlie Kirk, Amber Rose. Your thoughts, were they able to strike that tone last night?
What I noticed is many of the speeches were, pre-rehearsed, pre-prepared. The shooting sort of changed the tone. So some of the speeches were rehearsed of topics that are super relevant to our country, but didn't really talk about how scary America really is after what happened on Saturday. And what I would like to point out, and why I'm glad that we have J.D. Vance as our vice president pick, is that he is dealing with the things that rural Americans deal with, which is depression, anxiety, mental health issues, and we have drugs pouring across our border. I am from Ohio myself. I went to Ohio State University, and this state is a huge political powerhouse over the years. So I'm really hoping that J.D. Vance brings his hillbilly elegy mentality to the White House and is able to send the message from rural Americans that are really just the heartland of all voters, and everybody wants to get behind these people and have hope in our country. That's what we need right now, and the unity message needs to be that people at the White House care about the everyday American.
Well, what did you hear last night? Ever since the shooting, we have been hearing calls for a more conciliatory message. Did you hear any feelings like that? There's enough blame to go around, right? I don't think any of us on whatever side of the aisle we're sitting is blameless in getting a little heated with our rhetoric. I ran for Congress myself in a swing district here in Southern California, and I did not make it through the primary, but I was very worried about having to really go to the mat because that's not essentially who I am. So many good candidates don't run because of that fact. And so what I hope this does is opens the door for successful, strong, smart Americans to throw their hat in the ring in the future. That's what we really need. And that's why Trump picked J.D. Vance, is he needs to bring a new message to America. And I hope that that is what comes out of this convention. It must happen. We have to change how we run our state capitals, even down to local elections. We all know stories of just elections in our local communities that get pretty ugly.
But talking about this vice presidential pick, you're talking about someone who basically caters to the same base. Donald Trump is really not expanding the map at all because the two of them are so closely aligned. You've got a vice presidential pick here who has been extremely vocal in years past over Donald Trump, and it wasn't just once or twice. I mean, comparing him to America's Hitler, a predator, a cultural heroine, unfit for office, I can't stomach this guy. That's a lot. I mean, that's basically giving Democrats their political ads against a J.D. Vance. How does he kind of turn the tide there, even though he has been a staunch supporter as of late?
So I don't know if you've ever been to Western Pennsylvania, Appalachia, rural Ohio, Palestine, where the train crash happened, East Palestine, Ohio. People there are gritty.
they roll up their sleeves. They don't mess around, and it's sort of in his blood to be that way. I think that's who he is on one level, but he's also a Yale graduate. He's married to a successful attorney herself in her own right. He recognizes the need to be both when the time is right. I think if you're not from those areas of the country, it might be a little bit hard to digest at first. But like I said, the things that he has is, he started out not being from any sort of elite background, and he was able to transcend from those neighborhoods and suffering to Yale University. And so what I'm hoping that we get is a balance, and I'm hoping that the messages that are coming to their ears in Milwaukee are stressing the need, and congressional members that are there have constituents sending them messages, and those messages need to be heard by former President Trump and J.D. Vance and brought into everything they do between now and November, because as you said, that is a concern that has been pointed out to me. I am in touch with our local delegation from the Republican Party who are there, and various members of Congress that I became friends with during my race. So I hear you loud and clear. I plan on bringing that message to anyone I can. But that being said, the voters need to be expressive and let their politicians know what they want and what they need. And what I think we need is Americans that aren't so stressed out about their budgets, aren't so stressed out about paying the bills, aren't worried about their kids going to school and ODing on fentanyl. Americans need help, and we need help fast.
Yes, true. You know, you get the fentanyl in schools, and you also have to worry about school shootings as well. So another element that'll have to be addressed by both parties moving forward. Sheryl, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning, and have a great day.
You got it. You got it. And CBS News will have live coverage of the Republican National Convention until it ends on Thursday. We'll bring it to you right here on CBS 2 beginning at 10 p.m.